The most disturbing and funniest album cover has to go to the new Young Thug album. Is Scuddy because of the white face that he chooses to do in today's culture. People do not want to be white face. Apparently, white people have a big problem with that, and Thug throwing it in their face is pretty funny in my opinion. But nonetheless, this new album from Young Thug is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's Thug's best project, but after his Rico case and the parole and him not being able to violate that parole, he actually did a decent job for what he's allowed to do. Now, on the parole, he's not allowed to talk about gang violence, gang affiliated actions, anything that might pull him back to the Rico case. Now, I don't think he could be charged for the Rico again, but obviously he doesn't want to violate parole for the next 15 years and has to spend his sentencing in jail. With that in mind, you gotta say, like, like Thug, for what we know, like what we've known in the past, he did a pretty good job. Now, I will say there are some tracks that are just kind of like, yeah, that's Thug, all right, but it's also kind of like, it could have been better. Like, for example, Whoopty Doo.
If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de doo.
Whoopty Doo is one of those songs that you see in today's culture that is basically TikTok made. It's like made for TikTok, but it's also not so artistic that you sit there and say like, oh, this is really good. I can see why people would make TikToks to it. It's just kind of like capitalistic in the point of view where it loses its artistic reason for people to like gravitate towards it. It's kind of like when the business owner knows that the people like this thing, they raise the prices because they know you'll buy it anyways, and then it loses its kind of like reason why people liked it in the first place, because it was an affordable product that was worth its quality and everything. So looking at Whoop-De Doo, I know I'm kind of like deep diving into this one specific song for no reason, but it just irks me nowadays that artists choose to do things like that, where they make a song for TikTok, they remixed it, they slow it down, speed it up, they have all these different mixes to it. It just kind of like, we're losing the reason why people should make great music. Like, this is not part of it. Like, I know people need to get to their money, but you know what? Thug has been going through a lot in terms of the jail situation. You know, I'll let him slide, but hopefully this trend stops. Anyways, this album is very introspective. Now, I'm not going to say the cover reflects that, because there are moments where you sit there and saying like, what is going on? Is this like an alter ego of Thug? Is he like trying to be like a white version, or is this like his true reflection of what he sees inside? Like, is this internal Thug Jeffrey? Is this Jeffrey? This is more than Jeffrey with the, this is beautiful Thug or Jeffrey. Oh my god, that's so funny, because like with the blue eyes and how he's just like sitting there with his hands, like it just looks so weird. But the point is, there's a lot more introspectiveness in this album that I think people are gonna gloss over and not really notice that Thug is actually pretty sad about a lot of things. He's sad about his situation with his girlfriend Mariah. He's also sad with the situation with his, you know, his people he grew up with, the people who he thought he were gonna ride with him that end up turning because of the federal system. They turn snitch, they turn rat. And obviously he's alluding to Gunna and maybe some of the other YSL members who kind of took plea deals in that, you know, Rico case. But regardless, it's also, there is the Thug we like, you know, there is the club music, the boasting, the, you know, the flexing of your money and your lifestyle and going to trips and all that stuff, even though he's probably not doing that now because he probably can't leave the US or Atlanta for a little bit. But that's beside the point. We know he still has a lot of money, but it's still a really good project. Like, in fact, my favorite songs were the more melancholy songs, not the songs that were like yuck or on the news with Cardi B and things like this. Oh, and that's another thing that I better remember to say before I forget. The features on this album, from T.I. to Cardi B to Ken Carson, they all did a phenomenal job. And weirdly enough, Thug posted a bunch of pictures of what they would look like with the filter of the album cover for these artists, like Travis Scott, Ken Carson, and it's so disturbing to see black people with white skin. It's one of those things that like, it's just like, what is going on? Like, it's kind of like albino, but like, I guess when you know somebody's albino, it doesn't look weird anymore. But when somebody's not, it just kind of like, this is disturbing Photoshop work. Like, I don't like this. Like, this looks AI-ish in a weird way. Regardless, it's still pretty funny to look at. It's good for Twitter headers. If you want to be like a troll account, just use some of these guys' filtered, I don't even know, a scuddy filter, you can call him. It's probably, watch it be a trend now, like where people decide to do whiteface. But nonetheless, this album has some memorable moments, like on the first track, Ninja, where towards the end he kind of takes on this persona of a white boy who, the way he's like, if you haven't listened to the track, go listen to it and like wait till you get to the end. Basically, Thug chooses to say the N-word in a very uncomfortable type of way. Like, we've heard Thug say nigga a bunch of times in the past, so it's not really too crazy, but he says it with the hard R, and it sounds very hateful and very like redneckish, like almost kind of like the album cover said it, not Thug. This is Jeffrey talking here, and he's obviously just talking about like his ops and people who he hates, people who he would consider the N-word, like with the hard R. But it still is like, what are we into? Or like, this is a Thug album. Like, yeah, this is Thug for sure. And if somebody hasn't heard a Thug project before this one, you're in for a shock, because you're gonna be like, what are all these weird sounds and weird ad-libs and things like that? But if you're familiar with his music for like the past 10 years, you would know like, okay, this is Thug being, you know, creative and just comedic in a weird way, and just trying different styles and melodies and things like that. Not the N-word stuff, that's kind of like shocking at first, but for the whole project, you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. So I will say it's not the best Thug project. It's not Barter 6, it's not the Jeffrey, it's not Beautiful Thugger Girls, but it's good. I think it's good enough for people to say, wow, I think Thug is kind of gonna take that role that people were automatically assigning to Gunna. Ever since Gunna got in his plea deal and he was releasing music, people were like, oh, Gunna is carrying the torch. He's paying Thug's bills. He's getting money to YSL. Like, he's the only one who's actually doing stuff. Lil Baby and who else is on, I don't know, I can't remember the names, who else is on YSL in terms of music, but Lil Baby's not holding his weight, he's falling off. Gunna's the only one carrying the boat, he's carrying them. And I think if Thug can go down this round more, people are no longer going to talk about Gunna, because Gunna was good, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't like out of this world. Where I think Thug has the talent and has the experience of making songs that can hit that upper echelon of terms of like popularity and success and things like that. I think Thug can do that. On this album, I don't know if he did it. That's why I say it's a good project. It's not like his best, but I think in the years coming, he's going to put out a song and music out there that is going to be like, yeah, Gunna could never, you know. But maybe I'm just more of a Thug fan than I am Gunna. You guys can let me know what you guys think. But if I had to give a rating to Scuddy, which I still don't know if I'm saying it right, you guys can let me know if I'm supposed to pronounce it in a different way. But if I had to give this album a rating out of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10. There are some parts where I'm just like, I can go without this song, or like, that was kind of boring, a little bit, forget it. But there are a lot of parts on the album that I did enjoy. The features, Doug's choruses, the beat selections were really good. The slow songs, like diversity. There's a lot of great things about this project, and it's probably gonna be stuck in my rotation for a little bit. So you guys can let me know what you guys think about this project and what you would give it a rating out of 10, and what albums you guys want me to review next on the channel. Without further ado, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a like.